games. Whoop, let's go. Hursty Games, and this how we do. Now it's time.
Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games and welcome to the brand new QPR Career Mode FIFA 22 edition. Today we are kickstarting our new takeover of Queen's Park Rangers. For those who don't know, I am a QPR fan and every year we do a QPR Career Mode, and this year it's no different. We are bringing the Career Mode back, but obviously this year will come with new challenges. There'll be new things we have to compete with, new things we have to try and do. And I honestly think this year is going to be one of the most challenging career modes that we've ever done. And the main reason for that is I'm not very good at the game. On the FIFA 21 edition, for example, we played on Ultimate. We started on Legendary, but we worked our way up to Ultimate eventually. I am struggling on World Class, and that is the absolute honest truth. I am not very good at FIFA 22 by any stretch. So this is going to be a very, very difficult task, but one I'm up for the challenge for. Now, obviously, I am starting this at the start of October, so the teams are accurate to the start of October when I first do this. My first thing I want to say is I'm going to try my best to get through this series a lot quicker than we did the FIFA 21 series. And the main way we're going to do that is obviously kind of semi-ignoring this episode because we probably won't get to that kind of point of the save so far. But when we're into normal episodes, I want to be getting at least 5 games done per episode, and that will be that at least one of those games as well will be like what simmed with the option of us jumping in if we wanted to. But the first priority is obviously getting the team going, seeing what our expectations are, working out a starting 11 and potentially making a few signings. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about, a few plans I have for the first season. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start our QPR Career Mode. I'm going to keep it on World Class for now, purely because honestly, as I said, I'm not that great at the game yet. I'm going to have international offers off. We're not going to do any international offers. Obviously, European competitions are on. We're not in them yet, but that's fine. No financial takeover. I'm going to have it on loose negotiations. We're going to have, obviously, have it in pounds sterling and allow the transfer window. But for now, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's time to get going and start our QPR Career Mode FIFA 22. Let's get into it. Make sure you hit that sub button if you're new to the channel and make sure you turn the notifications on to be told anytime we upload this series. Here we are, our first press conference. Obviously, we don't say anything in this one. As you can see, I've got a bit casual there. I've gone with the black jeans, gone with the white t-shirt, a bit of stubble because I ain't gonna lie to you, the stubble kind of sticks around longer than it should do. But the new kit, I will get myself a new kit at some point, kind of waiting till probably nearer Christmas. I might get one a little bit sooner now the job situation's sorted, but we'll get to that when we get to it. And I will probably get the away kit because I think that is beautiful this year. But the tournaments, the preseason tournaments, I'm going to go just with the one with the most money. Obviously, we're going to sim the preseason tournaments. I'm not too fussed about those. The main focus is obviously getting into the games regardless. Anyway, let's have a little look at our expectations. Look at our youth academy in a second, but we'll start off with our visions and expectations. So, sign 4 youth players, which we're going to, as I said, we're going to get to a youth system in a mo. A goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and forward. That's fine. I'm actually absolutely fine trying to cover those anyway. 7 games with at least 1 goal scored in away matches. Okay, QPR, that's the kind of thing that we can do anyway. We score a lot away and home. There's goals in QPR games. It's just not always, sadly, going in our favour. Continental success, obviously, there isn't any at the moment. We're not in Europe. Gain automatic promotion. Wow. Okay, it's a low priority, apparently, but they expect us to gain, or they want us to finish top 2. Oh dear, I am in trouble. Okay, I kind of had it fight. I was expecting fight for promotion. Like fight for playoffs and stuff. Wow, okay. They want me to gain. Oh, that's going to be tricky. Reach round of 16 in the FA Cup, so they expect a bit of a cup run. And reduce player wages by £13,000 a week. Okay. So I guess one of the first things we'll do, as I said before, is have a look at our youth system, our current youth system, and see what's going on there. That's obviously just teaching us about the game. We don't need to worry too much about that. But our current youth system, let's have a little look-see. Okay, we have Himorana Manga. Incredible name. Hello. I just completely ignored Isaac Coles, who is immediately our best player. Excuse you? 5-star, 5-star. 76 rated. What? This guy looks amazing. That might be one of the best youth players I've ever seen. Like, I'm not going to lie about it. He might be one of the best youth players I've ever seen. Wow. It's a real shame that the only one that boosts just acceleration doesn't boost his shooting, because his shooting needs a bit of a... Otherwise, he's basically going to become a Dharma Traore. Isaac Coles could potentially be one of the best youth players I've ever seen. That is absolutely mental. I'm going to keep him on balance because we need the shooting to go up. The acceleration's going to go up anyway, so that's not the end of the world. But, I mean, okay, before we even look at the team, I can categorically tell you right now, Isaac Cole is getting promoted to the senior team. Like, that's a no-brainer. What has just happened there, boys? What the living hell? Jesus. I mean, okay, as I said, Himorana Manga looks decent too. Contreras doesn't look that great. Christians is how I'm going to say that. Could be average. And then Wilhelm Vreg looks okay potentially if his potential goes up. Isaac Coles, however, has 100% stolen the show. Regardless, we're going to have a little look at this team. We're going to work out what it is I'm going to do. I'm going to sort out what would be my starting 11. One thing I'm going to say, bear in mind, this is obviously a career mode. This is not real life. I might not stick to the usual 5-back that we play. I might mix things up a little bit. Let's find out. Okay, so as you can see, I've opted for a 4-2-2. Now, noticeable changes, obviously I've brought in my man Osman Kakai. For those who don't know, Aussie's #1 fan. Don't even at me. I've gone with Dickey and Barbe as our back two. Jordan Device dropping into the bench, and sadly Jimmy Dunn dropping out of the team completely. And that's just because of lack of space on the bench, because QPR fans will know we do actually have quite a bit of versatility in quite a few positions. Centre-back is kind of one of them. I think we've got 4 very good centre-backs, so there was always going to be at least one that missed out. But I'm going to try and rotate Jimmy Dunn in as and where possible, even if it's just onto the bench. Like if Geordie comes in for a game and then rotate that way is what it is. Obviously, Senny and Net didn't mention that. I didn't think I needed to. It's very obvious. McCallum's going to be my starting left-back. Now, McCallum and Odebaggio, I think, are going to swap and rotate quite a bit. Obviously, Odebaggio is a QPR player fully. McCallum is obviously on loan. So my thought process is have Odebaggio coming in and potentially be next season's left back, but we'll kind of come to that bridge when we get there. My decision on the starting 2 CDMs, I've gone with Johansson and Amos. Now, I think Dozzle in real life is very similar to Johansson. I think he doesn't quite have the ability Johansson has yet, but I do like Dozzle a lot, and I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he'll learn very well under a player like Stefan. And Amos, Balt and Field would be sort of fighting for the other position. 3 very defensive minded midfielders. So having like a DM and then like a creative DM is kind of my thought process here. So that's kind of what I'm trying to run and try and go for here. So that's sort of the thought process there. Then I've got Ilias on the left and I've got Willock on the right. Willock apparently can't play cam. Read into that how you will. I'm going to train him to become a cam. And obviously, Ilias will stay as a cam as well. Have these two sort of working behind the front two of Dykes and Gray. Austin will rotate in, mainly probably with Gray, as Dykes, I think, is going to be my main man going forward. Now, obviously, we have Coles. Obviously. I'm going to train Coles to become a cam as well. Or, my alternative option is, I run a 4-2-3-1. Coles on the left, Willock on the right, and Chair in the middle with then 1 lone striker. I'm not going to throw Coles in straight away. I'm going to rotate Coles in eventually. I'm going to give him preseason to see if he gets any game time, see how that works out. I want to keep Albert on the bench for now, but Albert's probably going to end up dropping out for Field, and Field will probably come in, and then obviously Dozzle and Field will be my 2 midfielder options. As I said, Field as that defensive option, Dozzle as the more creative option. But I think, honestly, we do have a small embarrassment of riches here. The only thing I'll say is there are a few aging players. So you've got the likes of Austin, you've got the likes of Albert. Obviously, Gray is not here permanently. As I said before, McCallum is not here permanently. And the other option for a left-back is Wallace, who's also not the youngest of players. But I would say the main thing we kind of really need to focus on, for me personally, is another rotation fullback, especially on that left-hand side, especially if Odebaggio and Kaká are going to sort of be fighting for that right-back spot. Another striker to come in through the ranks after Gray leaves and potentially Austin hangs his boots up at some point. And, again, another potential rotation option at DM if we decide we like 2 players specifically. So, for example, if Ball and or Field aren't really cutting it, then we'll look to bring in a new DM to sort of rotate with the 2 we have, plus Dozzle, plus the other option. I want to kind of have 4 people I'm confident with in those defensive roles. But that's the team I'm going with. Let me know your thoughts if there's any changes you would make. Let me know your thoughts on rotation and options between the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-2-2-2. I haven't used the 4-2-2-2 yet. I haven't used the 4-2-3-1 yet. I've literally used the 4-4-2. It's the only formation I've used in Ultimate Team this year. But I'm optimistic that this is going to work for us. So I'm going to save that as our team sheet for now. And yeah, the next plan of action, the next thing I would like to try and do is sort out a youth scout. Now, we have a 2-2 scout, and we're just going to send Theodore Atkins. We're just going to send him to England for 6 months. In that time, hopefully, I will find a keeper, defender, midfielder, and attacker, and hopefully we can complete those objectives. I will make sure that I sign one of each just to tick the box, but obviously, if we find any players in particular that are particularly standout, then we will go for that. The next thing we need to address, there's a lot of things you need to address at the start of a career mode, let's be honest with you, is, again, as I've been asked to do, lower the wages. So, we're going to start off by selling some people. Dylan Barnes has never really cut it at QPR. He's never really been given much of a chance, but he's never worked his way into the team. So, Dylan Barnes is going to get transfer listed. I would like to loan list Walsh. I think Walsh has got real potential in real life, and I'd like to see him get a chance, but he's not going to get that chance in this squad right now. Obviously, Hammerlinen on loan at LA Galaxy, probably be a player that I look to sell down the line because realistically, it's again never worked out with us, and he's not quite got the rating unless he goes up to like 70 in this season on loan. We'll work it out from there. Wallace, I don't think I'm going to transfer list. I think it's good to have some aging players and some experience in the squad, so that is what we are going to focus on. Just curious, I thought Senny had his player face then, but he did not. Marston out on loan. Jimmy Dunn, obviously here. I'm going to loan out Ben Wells. I'm going to add him to the loan list. I'm going to do the same with Joe Gubbins. Again, another young prospect, another young player. Device, Barbe, Dickey, and obviously Dunn are the main 4 we're going to be sort of rotating between. Dunn's got an important... Ooh, all of them have important, and then Dickey's crucial. That's not ideal. I have 3 centre-backs all expecting to play. There's 1 position. Obviously, Barbe can play left-back. Not that it says it there. Who else do we potentially have here that we could maybe move on? It's tricky, you know. You know what? I'm going to transfer this Charlie Owens. Nothing against Charlie Owens. Again, he's been sort of injury hampered, so that's not really helped his chance of working his way into the team. But I just don't think we have the space for a player like him to get into the team right now. Faisal Patach out on loan. Honestly, I love Faisal Patach. Absolute baller. I'm also going to loan list Duke McKenna. Another fantastic little player. Odi Alpha. I'm going to transfer list Odi Alpha. I won't lie to you. I think other than that, I'm going to transfer this Ramkild as well, because Ramkild I don't think is ever really going to, again, cut it for us. And then we have 2 strikers, those who don't know, out on loan through Charlie Kelman and Macaulay Bonne at Gillingham and Ipswich, respectively. 2 very good players that I think, again... Well, I'm a big fan of Kelman. For me, Bonne has never really looked fantastic for QPR. He just always seems like he's coming out to try and prove a point, and in doing that, he ends up getting himself booked a lot, which isn't ideal. But again... I'll happily be proven wrong by him in real life. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and sort the wages that I can. I'll give you guys a rough indicator as to whether I've managed to reduce the wages or if they've got worse. But I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, wages sorted. Only player not sorted is Duke McKenna, and that is because I accidentally got rid of 1,000. I tweaked the wrong number. I meant to tweak the hundreds. I tweaked the thousands, and yeah, I offered him like £400 or something stupid. So... rightly so, he said no. So we'll get back to that. We'll sort Duke McKenna's out, don't you worry. Everyone else is sorted, and I think everyone apart from 1 player took a cut in wages. So I'm kind of expecting that to look pretty good on our expectations. I don't know if that's going to update immediately. It hasn't. Okay, but we have reduced them. I'd probably say by about 8,000-9,000. So that's pretty darn good if you ask me. The only other thing, obviously, I need to get done, I'm going to do my training so that our players are developing as quickly as they can. Then we're going to work, obviously, into our preseason tournament. Then I'm going to add a couple of players to, like, a shortlist and tell you guys a couple of people I'm considering looking at. But I'm not going to sign anyone today. I'm going to leave it to the comments. We're going to discuss in the comments players you guys think are good to try and pick up. So I'm going to sort this training. If we get to a game, we get to a game. If not, I'll go through some of these transfers with you. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've gone through and looked at some potential players to pick up. One thing you'll notice about a lot of these, a lot of them are quite young. So most of them, I would say, are between sort of 16 to 22. It's a couple of slightly older players, and I'll obviously get into the reasons for why on some of those. But obviously for now, all of these are just being scouted. None of these are definites just yet. We'll start off with Livramento. Obviously a right back. As I said, we do have two options for right back. But we do have Odebaja who can go to that left-hand side. Ozzy can also go there. And we could also try and get Livramento there if we needed to. He's got that 4-star weak foot, so it's not the end of the world. Obviously quite young, I think starts in the 60s, but could be somebody to obviously come through the ranks. Iorfa down in League 1 at the moment with Sheffield Wednesday, but is a centre-back / right-back, so again kind of offers the same versatility of somebody to play that centre-back role, but also can play right-back, and we can move people across the left-hand side. Obviously one of the older players on the list, but still a decent player, and also very quick and physical. So I offer somebody that I was just interested in seeing his rating. Fagan Walcott, obviously currently at Spurs, a youngster, and again a young centre-back. But my main thought process here was if we potentially got him and his stats were looking correct, because I don't know what his stats are looking like, but he could maybe do an option again as a fullback, or potentially a CDM, a young CDM to come through. If we're not the biggest fan of, as I said before, ball, field, Amos, those kind of options. So we do have him as somebody to pay attention to. On to actual left-backs, we have Jaden Brown, also at Sheffield Wednesday. And I kind of looked at League One a little bit to see if there's a couple of people that could potentially be good pickups. And Sheffield Wednesday, surprise, surprise, have one of the best teams in that league. So for me, Jaden Brown was definitely somebody to look at. And again, could be decent and again, versatile on that left-hand side. Then we have Charlie Wiggett, is how I'm going to say that. Looked pretty down, like he could have good potential. Looked like a decent little player, potentially. So I thought I'd give him a scout. And again, I reckon because he's quite young, I think he could potentially be good, somebody like good to pick up. And a lot of these youngsters in the Premier League have got 12 months on their contract, which means we'll get them for that little bit cheaper as well. On to like an attacking creative midfielder. Mejbri is how I'm going to say it. Hannibal Mejbri. Incredible name, by the way. The Tunisian cam, again, looks like it could be a decent little pickup as good rotation. At the moment, our rotation option off the bench is Cole, and he's potentially going to be working his way into the starting team. So it'd be good to have a good youngster to potentially bring on. Kind of like Pepe Arce that we had last year. Could be potentially good, somebody to bring through and kind of play that rotation role on the bench for us, or maybe in cup games, those kind of things. Then on to strikers. As I said before, I'd like to find a young striker that could potentially come through and break their way into this team when we lose the likes of Andre Gray from his loan and potentially Charlie near the end of the season as well. We have Gelhardt, who's obviously at Leeds in the Premier League, and again, decent youngster. Munoz would be fantastic. Sadly, he is currently on loan, which is a real shame, but I think Santiago Munoz would be an incredible pickup if I could get him. He is actually on loan at Newcastle. Doesn't say it there, but I'm fairly sure he's on loan at Newcastle. Would be interesting, but I think he'd be a little bit expensive as well. But a good little player. Very good little player indeed. We have Balogun. Again, I think his rating will be a little bit lower, but again, that's kind of the thought process here, is picking up somebody who's lower rated and going to work their way through the ranks that we can sort of train and improve as we go. And then we have Ricky J. Jones, a bit of an old school career mode hero. I say old school, 21 I think might be the first one, but I think a lot of people picked up Ricky J. Jones in a sort of rebuild kind of style careers. So Ricky J. Jones could be somebody interesting to try and pick up. But if there's any players on this list that particularly stand out to you, let me know obviously down below in the comments. And of course, if you have any other suggestions, I will read through all of them. If I don't accept, if I don't add your suggestion to somebody I've scouted, please don't be offended. It's just a matter of obviously I can't scout absolutely everybody. I've used a lot of my scouting allowance here with these players, so I'll obviously potentially look at some other people afterwards. I've only looked in England though, specifically because if we get some suggestions from abroad, it means that obviously I will definitely have scouts free to scout people abroad as well. So let me know down below your suggestions, but also let me know your thoughts on these players, and if there's anyone immediately who jumps out to you as definitely worthwhile picking up. Also, please bear in mind our transfer budget is currently 4 mil. We don't have loads of money, so just think about that first. Okay, we're going to get into our first preseason game here, going with the team that I did say I'm wanting to use, and we are going to quick sim this game. It's up against Hamburger. We'll see if we get anything from this one. We get a 2-1 loss. Ilias getting onto the score sheet. Isaac did make his way on at some point, which is interesting to see he came on at DM, but it is what it is. Regardless, sadly, it's a loss in preseason. Okay, into game number 2. A few rotations here. So Austin coming in, Cole's coming in, Odebaggio, Dominic Ball, and Device all rotating in for the game against Rapid Vienna. A sort of Europa League level team, realistically. And I have clicked sim, not quick sim. So let's jump to that result. 1-1. You know what? We'll take it. McCallum getting on the score sheet. Things you'd love to see. Not terrible at all. Okay, into our final group stage game of the preseason. We kind of need to win this to go through. AJ I'm just going to call them AJ. I ain't going to try and say that name. And I've again clicked sim, not quick sim. Tom, you need to get used to that. 2-0 win. Austin missed a penalty, but Gray with a brace. Interesting things you'd like to see. Will we potentially sneak through? Rapid VN drop points. So actually, yes, I think we do sneak through because I think Rapid VN were only a point ahead of us. Things I'd have to see. Bonus, like prize money. All right then. Had a loan offer in for Joe Gubbins. It's a loan to buy, which we're going to say no to. So we're just going to try and get a loan there. But Hartlepool could be a good place for him to go. Down in League 2, obviously. So possibility of game time, even though he is quite low rated. We have also had some fees and sort of scout reports in for some of those players we were scouting. So I'll just go through very quickly. Obviously, I know you guys can see them too, and I know we did waffle on quite a bit about these transfers. But Livramento, 62 rated, probably get for about 700 to 800,000. You've got Iorfa, who's on 3.5 grand a week, probably have to pick up for about 2 million, that is. Fagan Walcott on about 5 grand a week, probably going to cost us about 600,000 to bring in. 61 rated as well, didn't mention that one. Jaden Brown, 65 rated, 1.5 grand a week, but they're not willing to sell him, which is a shame. Charlie Widget, 59 rated, about £1 million pound a week, and about probably actually get him for about 500 grand because again he's on less than 12 months. Mejbri, 62 rated, 4.6 a week and about £1 million. Geldhart, 66 rated, £10,000 a week and about 2 million. Munoz, again on loan, but he's 67 rated and 4.6 grand a week for future reference. Obviously, hopefully, at least the rating will go up in that regard. Balogun, 64 rated, again, £10,000 a week, and again, about £1.5 million transfer fee. And Ricky J. Jones, 60 rated, 850 a week, and probably going to cost us 5 to 600,000. So again, take that information with a pinch of salt. Let me know what you guys would potentially go for and what you guys would look at. At the moment, 4.7 million is now the budget. Obviously, if we get through this Preseason a little bit better, we'll get a little bit more money. So I will carry on and we'll see if we get any more dosh. Okay, as you can see, again, more rotations. Again, just because it's preseason, I'm just trying to get some players some game time and see if we can get most of the team relatively happy. And we make it through again, Johansson and Gray with another goal. Andre Gray getting goals here is always good to know. That's very important because that could be very helpful for us. And we have Dijon in the final. Interesting. The deal for Gubbins has gone through, at least preliminary. Obviously, they've just got to sort out wages and the contract now. But Gubbins on loan to Hartlepool would be fantastic. Okay, into the final against the French team Dijon. Let's see if we can, again, if we can win preseason, that'd be really nice because it does just give us that little bit of extra funding. Sadly, it didn't quite work that way. We did get a little bit battered. Gray again with a goal, though. Gray has had a very good preseason, which is very good to see. But that takes us up to £5.56 million now in our transfer budget. So it does give us a little bit extra to play with here. It does mean that we do have a few options now instead of maybe just being able to sign one player. The other thing it does do is potentially open us up to get another scout and maybe a slightly improved scout. Now, as much as I'd love to just go and get Harley Taylor, that would be most of our funds. But for example, we could go and pick up like a Roman James, or we could pick up the Icelandic man. I'm not going to try. I don't even know how you say that, so I'm not going to try. But it'll be interesting to see if maybe you guys think we should get another scout. Gives us more options and potentially find better youth prospects coming through. So I think what we'll do is I want to give you guys, as I said before, I want to give you guys a chance to really interact and let me know on players you would like to see signing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end episode 1 there and leave it now down to you guys to potentially show us players you'd like to see. If you're happy with the suggestions I've got, if you need reminding of them, then make sure you just scroll back a little bit. Obviously, all the players, ratings, prices, and wages will be there. Please, again, keep it within budget. And again, please don't be offended if I don't sign the player you particularly asked for. Obviously, I will go with majority and what I think is best for the series. But for now, guys, I want to say thank you for watching. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do leave a like on the video. It supports me, the video, and the channel out to a whole bunch. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button and turn notifications on to be told anytime we upload a video. If you want to catch us on our live streams, Hursty Games YT over on Twitch. Link is in the description. And while you're in the description, check out our 2 channel sponsors of Real Footy Prints and M21. And code Hursty will get you a discount at both. But for now, guys, I want to say a massive thank you for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome. And I'll see you soon. The Lukaku says, and of course, wash your hands in a bit.
What? Nah, his name is Hursty. Slap bald head, yeah, it'll probably hurt me. Bang top bins, it'll probably hurt you. Ginger, streamer, platform, YouTube. Drop a name in the chat, we'll say hello. Entertained, yeah, you already know. Capital H, yeah, I'm a read it slow. Hursty Games, yeah, you already know.